guys, Melissa here at TCT Crafts. Thank you guys so much for joining our channel. I hope you guys are excited for today's tutorial. So I've got my apron on, which means we're going to get a little bit messy today. Not too bad, but we are working with some flocked greenery, which can be a little messy. But we are going to be making this gorgeous Christmas holiday table arrangement. Sort of a whimsical glam look in the pink and the reds and the golds. So this is what we're going to be designing today. So I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. If this is your first time and you haven't already subscribed, we would love to have you. So go ahead and subscribe, hit that little notification bell, and every time we have a new video, you will be notified. And if you're just looking for a little bit more content, we also have a members exclusive club, VIP group, I guess you would call it. You can join there and you'll get a couple extra tutorials per month that are only for our exclusive members. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's go ahead and get started. Hello everybody, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be doing a really fun, sort of whimsical, elegant table arrangement. Perfect for the holidays that's coming up. So we are going to start, and I'm going to be using a 34-inch door swag. Okay, this is going to be our base. And what I'm going to do, you do not have to do this. You could leave it if it's, especially if it's like for your own home, you don't have to do this. But I want to add a little bit of stability to the bottom of this. So I'm just taking just a piece of wood that my husband had cut out for me a long time ago. You could use like a 2x4, just whatever you wanted to use to kind of give it a little bit more stability. So I am just going to take, and let me see kind of where the center of this is. So this is about just a little over 14.5. Just a little over 14.5. So kind of right in this area here. So I'm just going to put that there, and then we're just going to zip tie this. So I'm just going to zip tie it. And we're going to cover the bottom of that, but I didn't want to cover it beforehand because I wanted to run that zip tie through that. If I would have put the covering on this, I wouldn't have been able to go through and run that zip tie without poking holes. So I just went ahead and left it, and then we'll cover it in a minute. So let me cut this off, and then we'll add 2 more zip ties, one on either side. And again, this is optional. You do not have to do this. I have made these arrangements without the base, but this one's going to be a little bit larger. We're going to have something that's a little tall on it, and I wanted to just give it a little bit more stability. So that's why I'm doing this. Okay, let's add one more. Guess it would help if I put it in the right way. Okay. We're going to do a couple more steps before we cover it. So we've got that in there. It's not going anywhere. Now the next thing I want to add is this pre-made swag. I love using these because it already does a lot of the work for you. It's already got the different greeneries in here, and it's all nice and put together, and they sit really nice down in there. So I use a lot of these when I'm making my table arrangements. I do not want the pine cones, so I'm going to pull those out. see my center point where I put my zip tie. We actually probably could have just zip tied both of these together if I would have thought about it, but I didn't. So we're going to add another zip tie. Actually, before we do that, there's a piece, we're going to add a piece of foam right here in the center that I want to zip tie as well. I am going to add glue to it though. Let me go ahead and just zip tie this. We'll just use another zip tie. I don't want this moving on me. Okay, so right next to that other zip tie, I'm going to zip tie this in. If you don't want to use zip ties, you could use pipe cleaners or floral wire, whichever you prefer. Okay, I'm going to push that down a little bit. So I want this to sit right in here. I'm going to pull this out. Okay. Add some glue and then we'll zip tie that in. So this piece of foam is what our focal point is going to sit on, and because I wanted something to be able to, I wanted to be able to poke it to secure it. So that's why I'm adding the, and you'll see here in a little bit, that's why I'm adding the foam. And I'm going to go to the sides of this. This actually might be better with floral wire. I do have some floral wire, but I've already got that in there. So that's okay. You could use floral wire just to wrap around that. Okay, let's do this side. And then we'll have our base done. We can move on. I'll show you how I'm going to cover it. I'm going to add a little bit of glue. Just right kind of where that cuts into the foam. All right. Now I just brought, to cover the bottom, I just brought 2 pieces of felt. I didn't have one that was just long enough. So we're just going to use 2. I'm just going to glue it to the bottom here. And that's just to kind of keep it from scratching anybody's table. And then this one will just overlap. Just overlap it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to take my glue gun and just kind of go around and make sure I don't have any spots that's kind of sticking up. Just kind of giving you a little extra glue there. Making sure nothing is right here in the corner. Okay, I think we're good. So now we have it covered. If you don't have felt, you could use like a foam sheet, piece of fabric, just to kind of keep it from, you know, scratching their tail. So now we have our base done. And I had originally brought in some mesh just to kind of fill it in. But I think we may skip the mesh. I'm not sure that we're going to need it because we've got lots of other fillers. So I'm gonna skip the mesh part. If you want to add a little bit of mesh, you could add some in here, but I think with all of the other items that we have, I think it's going to give us pretty good coverage. So we'll just go ahead and skip that. So let's add our focal piece. So we're going to be using this gift stack box. It is foam. And you can see it's kind of tall. That's why I wanted it to have a little bit more stability. I wanted to be able to poke it into the foam. So let me go ahead and cut the tack off. These are just super cute. We don't have very many of them. We just got a limited amount. So if you want this one, grab it. Okay, so I'm going to set it right here. I'm going to add some glue to the bottom, and then I'm going to take my floral pins and we're going to pin it because it is foam. And that's why I wanted a piece of foam there so that I could just attach it with my floral pins. Okay. Make sure I kind of have it centered on my foam. Okay, I'm going to take my floral pins. So I'm just taking my U-pins, my little floral pins. We use these quite a bit. If this is your first time watching, you can get these at any of the craft supply stores, you know, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, and they also sell them on Amazon. So I'm just going to take the floral pin and I'm going to just go right into my gift box and into that foam. And just push it and add some glue. And we're going to do the same thing kind of underneath. And I'm going to add some glue. And go again on the front. Okay, now this one I'm going to kind of go up underneath like I did on the other side. Add some glue, and I think I'm going to do one more. Just extra security. There we go. Adding lots of glue in there. All right. So now we have our little gift package in there nicely. Not going to go anywhere. Okay, I'm going to let that glue set for just a second. And then we're going to add, some of these white pine sprays. I'm going to add some of this in here. So I think on this I'm going to break it up. Into some sections. So there's a good kind of breaking point. And then we've got, can do another section right in here. And then we have our last piece. So we're getting 3 sections out of this one pine spray. I'm wearing my apron today because when we're working with all this flocking, it's messy. So I want to just kind of incorporate some of these in here. Okay, I'm going to take my glue pot, dip it in my glue. I'm going to come right down in there. Kind of fan it out. We just kind of tuck that little piece right in there. We're going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to dip it in my glue pot. I'm going to lift that up. Okay, so now we've got some of that on either side. We're going to add a little bit around the sides here. So we've got this piece of foam underneath our box. I'm going to utilize that to poke in this one. Let me get right in here. Okay, I'm going to hit it with a little bit more glue just to make sure we're in there good. We've got a piece there. We need to add a piece here, and then we'll do this side. So we're going to go ahead and cut up one more of these. So we're going to use 2 of these. So again, I'm just going to find a point here. Cut there, and then we'll cut here. So that gives us 3 more pieces again. get our other piece here. Oh, stuck on my ring. There we go. I'm going to try to utilize this foam. I want to make sure on my length, so I may need to cut this down. I don't want it sticking too far out from our other one. Okay, let me add some glue. I hit it with my glue gun just to make sure. Okay, now we've got our pieces in our front. Let's do the back. We're going to try to design this so it can really kind of go either way. It'll primarily have a front, but it'll be pretty from all sides. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to find this foam. I'm going to place it up in there. Some more glue. Okay, and let's add this last piece. Hit it with my glue before I kind of shape it. Getting attacked by the glue strings. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of pull these branches sort of all around. This one was not in there good. It came right out. There we go. Okay, so now we've kind of gone all the way around. We've got some on the sides, or tucked up under here. We've got some around. We're going to add our other items, and then we can kind of, you know, manipulate them a little bit once that glue kind of dries a little bit. So let's add in our next greenery. We'll add just a little bit, and then I want to add our lollipops. So we're going to go in with another pine. We're going to mix in lots of different textures. So I like to pull in different pine sprays. So I'm going to take the pine cones out. This is one of my favorites. I like this one, and I have another one that's just a little bit longer. These are one of my favorites. I use them in a lot of my designs. So we're going to cut this down into little pieces. so now we're going to take, and I want to fill in up underneath, sort of up in here, giving it some movement up. So I'm going to stick it in my glue pot. Okay. Put one right there. Let's get one towards the center. Go on this side. Okay, let's cut up another one. Again, I'm taking off the pine cones. If you want to leave the pine cones, you definitely can. For this design, I personally don't want the pine cones. Okay. Let's add one over on this side. And then again in the front. Okay, we'll add some more in a minute, but let's stop here for now. So we're filling it in nicely. We'll save those pieces. We're going to add more because we still need to fill in down here and stuff. But I want to get some of our other pieces added. So we're going to add these cute little pink glittery lollipops. Thought they would be cute in here. Bring out a little bit of the pink from our gift box. Now let me see. I know I don't want the stick that long, so let me cut it down a little bit. I'm trying to see. Oops. And this does have like a little ribbon that's wrapped around it, so we'll have to glue that. Once we know exactly how long it is, I'll go ahead for now and just glue it because I'm going to play with it for a second. So I'm thinking kind of, my thought was sort of out to the side. I don't know if I want it like to face the front or to have it kind of like that. I think facing. Okay. So, and we can always stick it into our present too because our present is foam. So let me see kind of where I want. Thinking kind of right there. Okay. Let me cut this down just a little bit and then we'll glue this string. almost debating on taking the string off just because it's kind of cute with it. I'm thinking kind of right in there. If I could get it to stand, if I could get it to glue right there, that would be great. But I'd have to use a pin and then I'd be afraid it would show. Give me a second, guys. I'm thinking. Could add another piece of foam. I'm going to try something. I'm going to cut it at a diagonal. I'm going to take this off because it's just bugging me. I'm going to hit it with some glue. I just poked it into that gift box because the gift box is foam. And let's add a tiny bit of glue here. And let me hold it for a second and see if that will stay. If not, we'll take a pin and try to, we can also maybe even wrap one of these pine ties around here to kind of help hold it. Take the other one. Go ahead and take the string off of this one too. Thinking if I want this one a little higher, or if we want them kind of the same. So let me add the glue. And then we'll add some glue here. And I'm going to hold it. Okay, I don't want this, so this I'm going to have to figure out. I'm going to have to add some more glue or something. This I don't want moving, so I'm going to take a floral pin and I'm just going to go right into this present, this little gift box with our floral pin. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. go straight through there. Okay, let me add. You may have to put a little floral pin there. I'm just trying not to so that we don't have to worry about hiding our mechanics there. So I'm just going to be patient for a second and hold this. Okay, so I think we're good there. If you guys are doing this at home, it's too late for me now because I've already glued it. But another suggestion would be to take a small little skewer, because these are foam, poke it through the side of that lollipop, and then you could poke it straight into that foam box, and then you wouldn't have to worry about, like with a floral pin, we would see the back of the floral pin. With this, if we poked it through the lollipop and then straight into the foam, you wouldn't see it. Hope that makes sense. If I'd have thought about it sooner, I would have done that, but I just thought about it as I was sitting there holding that glue. I was like, why did I not stick that with a skewer? So, learn from me. If I were doing this again, I would use a little, or you could even use like a toothpick. If you don't have a little skewer, use a little toothpick and just stick it through that foam, and then it would stick right into that felt, and it would kind of help hold it. Okay, let's move on. But I have it tied around the bottom with our pine ties, and I also stuck our floral pins in there as well. So it's not going to go anywhere here. My only thing is I'm just going to keep watching, and I may add a little dab of glue again right here, just to make sure it's going to stay against our present, our little gift box. Okay, so let's move on. Let's add our ornaments. So I want to bring in some red. We've added our pink. Now I want to bring in some red. So I'm going to use these red ornament balls that we have. So let me see where I want to place them. So my thought was kind of right up under here, right up under our lollipops. I like that. Okay, I'm going to add some glue around here just so it doesn't come off, and then I'm going to get some floral wire and wrap in there. You could use a pipe cleaner too. I think a pipe cleaner would fit through that hole. But I'm just going to use a little piece of wire, and that way we can secure it. We can tie it around some of these pine branches. We'll also glue it, but that way we're not just relying on the glue. And these balls are foam too. So again, we could use the floral pin, and we might if this doesn't. This gives us fits. Let's try this first. So I'm just going to see if we could tie this. That broke, so that is not going to work. Okay. We'll resort to the floral pin because that one broke on me. Just the little hook part. Let's go ahead and add our glue. I think my glue gun is giving me, there it goes. I accidentally turned it off, I guess. Okay, again, we're going to take our floral pin. I'm going to dip it in my glue pot, get some glue on it, and I'm going to go right between into that ball and then right into that pine. some more glue down in here. We can do another floral pin. Again, around our pine branch, right into the bottom of our, let me add some glue on this. And go right to the bottom of our ornament ball and tied it to some of that pine. We can do the same thing on the front. Dip it in my glue pot. I'm going to take this pine branch that's right here and just poke that right into, that ornament right down there. Okay? So that is not going to go anywhere. It's secured with glue, and then 3 of our floral pins. And then we can just add a little bit more glue, extra security. There we go. Okay, let's get our next one. And I'm not even going to mess with the wires since it seems like this plastic is pretty flimsy, so I don't want to worry about having it pop off. So I'm just going to do the same thing. We'll just use our floral pins. Okay, so we're going to put it right there. So let me add my glue. Get another glue stick. So this is a large design. You could scale it down if you don't want it this big, but using this this big focal point, if you wanted something a little smaller, you might have to find like a smaller focal point. Something not quite as tall. Okay, I'm going to hold this for a second. Now I'm going to take our floral pin, dip it in my glue. I'm going to take this pine and push it right in there. Add a little bit more glue. Let's do the same up here. I'm going kind of at the bottom because that is hidden by all of our greenery. So we're not going to see our mechanics, and we're going to be adding some more. So by the time we get done, you shouldn't see anything. Let's do one more. Okay. Alright, so we have our ornaments in place. Turning out super cute. Okay. So for floral pins, I think we're probably done with our floral pins. But now let's add some ribbon before we add the rest of our filler. I want to get some ribbon in here. So I'm going to use this red and gold 1-inch Farrisilk. I love their 1 inches. I have them in all the colors. Well, I say all the colors. I have them in a lot of colors. I don't know about all the colors, but I love these 1-inch Farrisilk. And the wires are just, I mean, to die for. So they really hold their shape. They're more expensive, obviously, because it's Farrisilk, but it is worth every penny. So I think I just want to kind of weave some of this ribbon in here. So let's get 2 pine ties under here. And I'm just going to wrap it around. And I'm just going to do a loop back here. if I can get a pine branch to wrap around this loop. And we'll add some glue. I'll turn around in a second and show you guys. So we'll trim that up in a little bit, but so I just did just a loop. Okay. And I may add, let's see if we want to add just a little simple bow right here. Kind of like that. Just a tiny little simple bow. I'm going to use some of my wire. Twist it. And I'm going to take and tie that around that little tail. And then we'll glue it too. I want to tie it to make sure it's secure in there. And then I'm going to push it down in there and glue it. So I'm going to use my scissors and just kind of push that down there. Hold it in place for a second. Okay, so we just did a little baby bow back there. Cute. Okay. Now let's go on this side over here. Kind of do the same thing, so I'm going to find a tie in here. Tie this. Let's do a loop. And they don't have to be, you know, exactly symmetrical. They don't have to be exactly the same. So like I have this one a little higher than I have that one. Okay. Now again, I'm going to make my little baby bow. I think my loop's a little smaller. Bit more of my floral wire out. Oh, it's on the floor. Ooh, I should not have done that, y'all. Don't do that. I've got my good craft scissors, some of my good fabric scissors, and I just cut wire with it. Oopsie, oopsie, oopsie. I'm gonna move those. Okay, now I'm just going to take and wrap this around my tails down here. And then we'll take our glue. And I'm going to glue the bottom of this bow. Take my scissors and just kind of hold it down in there. I'm going to cut this one just a hair. There we go. I think I may take one of these floral pins. And just pin that to that box. Okay, so it's not going out. And that one is not going out. It's glued in there pretty good. Okay, so we've got our little bows back there. Now for the front, so that'll be the back side. For the front, let me see what I want to do. I think I want to do a big bow or a bigger bow just here in the front. Yeah, I like that. Cute. Okay. And make sure my loops are about the same size. I'll turn around. So I just made just 2 loops. Simple bow, just 2 loops. Let's get some more of my wire. Twisting it nice and tight. I'm gonna wrap it around this pine branch. And then we'll do the same thing with our floral pin and our glue that we did on the other one. Okay, so I'm going to take a floral pin, and I'm just going to poke that into our little gift box. So it's going to secure this bow right into our gift box. Then I'm going to add some glue, and we'll cover that little mechanic up with some greenery here in a second. The little piece of greenery in the middle already kind of covers it up, but I'm going to cut this tail a little shorter. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one a little shorter. I'm losing my mat. I'm a mess today, y'all. Okay. So we have our bigger bow here in the front. We have our little baby bows towards the back. So no matter which way they want to put it, it looks beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so we're coming right along. Now we want to fill in some of this down here. We've got a lot filled in here, but we want to fill in down a little bit down here. We're done with our ribbon. If you want to add more ribbon, you can, but I think that's all I'm going to add. So let me put this away and get it out of my way because I am struggling today, y'all. I'm on the struggle bus. It's Monday. It's Monday when I'm recording this. You guys won't see it till Sunday, but it's a Monday. Okay. So we're going to add some glitter sprays 2, but before we do that, let's add a couple more pieces of greenery down here at the bottom. So let me cut these pine cones off, and we'll cut this into pieces again. We could have done this earlier, but I kind of wanted to see, you know, get some of our bigger items placed, and then we can go back and fill in exactly where we needed it. Come down here, and I'm just going to dip this in my glue pot. Get a generous amount of glue. I'm going to tuck that right down in there. Put this pine cone away. I have these pieces left from earlier. So again, I'm just going and filling in. Let's fill in like right around the ball. Or I call it the ball, the ornament. Y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. Okay, I'm just going to kind of go all the way around now and tuck some of this. Let me show you, I'm just going around and kind of tucking some of this into some of the little places, making it a little bit more full. Let's add one right here in the front. Okay. I'm just lifting up some of those pine pieces and just kind of tucking them in there. So we're just tucking them in, kind of filling it in. Wherever you see kind of a hole, there's really not a good way to tell you guys where to put it. Just kind of, you know, where you see that there could use a little bit more filler, just glue it in there. Okay, we're going to cut up another one. So I've lost count how many I think we've used. Is this 4? Might be 4. I'll put it in the supply list. So I always try to do a supply list for you guys. It'll be in the comments, or in the description, not the comments, in the description part of the video will be a supply list. So when I go back and do the editing for this, I will see how many we used and I'll put it in our supply list. We're either at 4 or 5. I can't remember if I brought 6 or 5 of these. So I'm just going to stick one right there. So we're just filling it out, making sure everything looks nice. Let's do one right in there. Okay, let's get a piece down here. And where I tied in, I think I forgot to do this, where I tied in this tail, ribbon tail, I'm going to add some glue. Let me do it on this side too, right where I tied it in. I can't remember if I did it, so we'll just do it again. Okay. Let's put a piece right over there. Okay, we'll cut up our last one. Kind of put it around the back side. So So we either use 5 or 6 of these, I'm not sure, but like I said, I'll put it in this pile list. And if you don't want that much in here, you do not have to add. You can, it looked pretty before. I just, you know, the way I design, it's just more and more for me. Sometimes I just don't know when to stop. So I'm going to keep going around the back side now. I'm going to hit this with a little bit more glue. And I'll turn this around in a second so you guys can see. All right, so I just tucked in a few pieces back there. It's getting nice and full. We still have our glitter sprays to add. I do have one more greenery bush if we need it. But again, you could stop here if you don't want to add the glitter sprays. This is very pretty, just like this. But we're going to bring in a little bit of the gold. So our little gift boxes have gold and our ribbon has the gold. So we're going to bring in a little bit more gold with our sprays. And then I got some red. So we're going to kind of mix it up between the gold and the red. I thought about adding the pink, but you know, I think we'll keep the pink just with our lollipops and then just do gold and red. So as I said, it's kind of like a whimsical, elegant table arrangement. It's kind of my design aesthetic, I guess you would call it. It's more, I like whimsical, but I'm usually not one that's just all whimsical. I like to add in a little bit of glam to it. So we're going to add a little bit of some glam with our gorgeous velvet and gold ribbon, and then these pretty glitter sprays, our nice greenery. Then we have the whimsical elements of the lollipops and the gift box. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now let's start going and tucking in some of these pieces, and I'm just going to kind of alternate between the red and the gold. And I kind of want some pieces coming up in this area too. I'm going to hit that with some glue down there. And if you need extra length, because this, where we cut it, there's really not a stick, just pull those leaves off and now you have a little stick to add your glue. And to kind of help you place it in there. So let me turn it around. So far I've got our red. I added some gold up here, gold. Now we'll add red. So I'm kind of alternating. I'm going to add a bigger red on the bottom. Again, I'm going to pull these off. I'm just going to go in up underneath there. You can see we're just kind of alternating between the reds, the golds. Now we'll do a gold kind of up in here. Right in that one, right there. Now we'll go in with the gold towards the bottom. got our red at the bottom. And I'm making sure they're not sticking, like they're pretty even. I don't want this one, so you saw me really kind of push it up in there because I didn't want it sticking, like if I just pushed it in there a little bit, it'd be hanging way out here, having its own little party. So I kind of pushed it up in there. Okay, now let's go in with the red. Just working my way around. I kind of got a hole, I don't know if you guys can see, kind of got a hole right here where we need some greenery. So I'm going to keep that in mind and we'll come back to that spot. Okay, so I'm going to keep that in mind, that little hole right there. I've got one more greenery we're going to add if we need it, which I think we do, just because I'm being picky. Still just kind of going around, alternating. Let's put a red piece kind of closer up underneath this ornament. Ow, I just touched that glue pot, that was hot. Okay, now we need a red piece on the bottom. Get a gold piece. I don't like that one. This is our front, so let's do it this way. Yeah. Okay, I like that. So since this is our front, I'm making sure that my spray is facing the right direction. And I'm just going to tuck a gold one right there. See, I can't talk. Tucked a gold one right here. I'm going to tuck another gold one right here. And then we'll put a red kind of like at the bottom. So let's get our other gold piece. I'm going to kind of tuck it in right there. Okay, so now we have the gold on either side. Now let's go in with a little bit of red kind of underneath it. I'm going to take these off. I'm going to kind of go in there with the red. Now I know it's right next to that red, but that's okay because I want this a little bit of red closer to this gold. We can always add another piece of gold here if we need to. Okay, so let me cut up another one. So far I know we're going to use 2 red and probably 2 of the gold. And I think that's probably all, but we'll see. We get a lot of pieces off of one of these, so. And these little scraps, you can chunk them or you can save them, and we can kind of like tuck them like to hide our mechanics. You can always tuck some in, so we'll save them for now. We might use them to kind of tuck in and hide some little mechanics. Hope you guys are enjoying this design. If you are, make sure you give me a like. If you haven't subscribed, I would love for you guys to subscribe to the channel. I come up with new content every week. We also have a members only group where if you just want some more tutorials, I'll post some exclusive tutorials in there for our members only group. Let's do one right there in the front like that. I like that. So it just gives you a little bit more content. Very, very low price. But you get at least 2 extra tutorials a month over there. Okay, so I added just a little piece there of the red. Now we need to add a piece of red over here. I'll cut this down just a hair. Okay, let me look at it. Beautiful. I think I want to put a gold piece underneath. Just a small one. Let's do one on this side. Let me find another small piece. I am not going to want to sell this one, y'all. But I'm going to have to because my husband says I can't keep anymore. But this is so pretty. Okay, now let me see if I want to add one. So my thought was maybe we could have one kind of coming up. I don't know. Don't know if I like that or not. I wish we were live. I would ask y'all, what do you think? I think we'll just leave it, but I will need to hide that little piece of glue where we glued in that. So I'm going to just take one of our little leaves, add some glue, and I'm going to just tuck it in right there, and it kind of hides our, hot. Ooh, that was hot. Hides where we put that glue right in the middle of our bow. Okay, so it's kind of like the little button for our bow. So let's keep going. I'm really debating on, I want to fill in that little hole that I told you guys I saw, but we've got so much in it. This is going to be pricey already. So I'm wondering if I want to just not add any more greenery. Maybe we can fill it in with another spray. Okay, I've got the red there. Just because the more you add, obviously, the more supplies, the more pricey it gets. And this is already going to be a more elaborate design. Okay, so let's see. I need a gold piece, but I don't want it too long. I'm going to cut this down just a hair. We're going to go right in there. Okay. Go in with our red. All right, and let's go in with the gold. We need a gold down here to kind of break it. And then we'll stop and look at it. Because I am burning myself today with this glue. Okay, I'm going to take another one of our little leaves, and I'm going to take and cover our mechanics right in the center of our bow back here, our little mini bows. So I'm just going to kind of tuck some of those in there. Trying to get it the right angle right there. Okay, I think we need a red piece right there. There we go. So let me just look around and see if I see any other spots that we need to add. Let's see, maybe right. I think right around our ornament, let's add some of these little leaves. I really don't want a whole big spray. Just want a little bit of this gold right around here. Okay, so I just kind of went around our little ornament here and just tucked in a couple of these little leaves. Let's do the same thing on this side. Now back here, this little hole that I didn't like, let me see if I add just another spray down here. That kind of fills that in. So I'm gonna, instead of getting another piece of greenery, I'm just gonna tuck a piece of this red, because I've already cut this up, or we've already had to use it in this design. So we are already, we're already having to account for this cost. Okay, so let's see if we've got, so maybe on this side, the same location. I'm gonna cut this down just a hair. And tuck it in. I don't like the way that tucked in there, so I just pulled it out. There we go. Okay guys, I think we're done. So I think it turned out beautiful. I hope you guys enjoyed this design. Again, if you don't want one this big, just find you any focal point. It could just be a single gift box and it wouldn't be as tall. You could use smaller lollipops. But I hope you guys enjoyed this design. Until next time, bye guys. Okay y'all, I'm back. After I got this back to the shop and started taking pictures, although it is beautiful like it is, I thought that we needed to pull in a little bit more of the pink. This was very heavy on the red and gold and there was no pink down here. We only had it up at the top, so I thought let's pull in a little bit of pink. So I pulled these pink little ball sprays that we have in the shop, and I'm just going to add a couple of these around towards the bottom to bring in a little bit of the pink, okay? So that is what I'm going to do. I wanted to come back on and show you guys what I'm doing here. So I'm just going to take some of these. We're just going to kind of tuck them in. We're not going to go super crazy with them, but I do want to add some of this pink element into this design. Okay. I'm just tucking those down in there like that. So just adding a little pop of the pink. going to go around. And we may end up adding 3 of these. So when you cut them up, you get 3 pieces. We'll see if we can get away with just doing 2 of these. We can kind of twist some of these in around the pine. Put one right in there. So there we go. I'm just going to use 2 of those, but just brought in a little bit of the pink. Okay? Till next time. Bye, guys.